Right, so continuing with the Electrolux theme today. This is another fairly special machine, or quite a special machine to me anyway. This is my parents' Electrolux Twinturbo that they've had since new. So the story with this one goes, basically my parents first met in 1982. Not long after that they got their own flat in Elephant and Castle, but at the time they couldn't afford their own Hoover, so they used to buy my nan's Hoover. So fast forward a few years and they got married, and my nan bought this for them as a wedding gift because she was so fed up of them borrowing her Hoover all the time. So this was their first Hoover, or their first vacuum, sorry. And last week was their 35th wedding anniversary. So this is now 35 years old. Obviously I was born a couple of years later, so this was basically the first vacuum that I remember. So it's got a lot of sentimental value. This is where it all started for me. It's had a pretty tough life. Obviously it's survived a couple of house moves. It's cleaned up after my sister, me, the dog, DIY, cars, everything. But my mum pretty much refuses to use anything else. I've tried to coax her into getting something a bit newer or something a bit lighter, but she just won't have it. She always wants to go back to this. So I thought it was time to give it an overhaul. So I've got Dan over at Pneumatic Rule 29 to take on the job, and what a good job he's done. It looks probably the best it's looked in about 25 years. I've sort of maintained it over the years. I've changed filters and things like that, belts, and it's had a couple of motor changes. The first motor it sounded awful, it wore out, bearings went. I had a second motor that wore out, so I think it's now in its third motor. A few cable changes over the years, things like that, but it's basically the same machine. My dad had tried to make a few improvements and made a complete hash up of it, so it was tripping the RCD, and my mum said, can you have a look at it, put a new cable on. So I gave it to Dan. He's gone through it and done a fantastic job. It looks absolutely awesome. I actually don't remember it looking this good. It's got a little chip in the bag door clip there, so I've got a spare one to go on it. I think that's the third bag door clip it's had over the years. Remember, it had a blue one for years because my sister, when she was a baby, she was running around the flat and she basically face planted herself straight into the front of the Electrolux and broke the clip off, so I had a blue one for years. So yeah, it's had a bit of a tough life, but it's looking good. It's still going. Basically the idea is, next time I see my parents, I'm going to give it back to them as a bit of a anniversary gift, and I think they're going to be well chuffed with that. But in the meantime I get to play with it for a bit. It's like meeting an old friend again. So without further ado, let's give it a run. It's so funny, for as long as I can remember, it's had that slightly squeaky brush roll, even though it's all been lubricated and cleaned out, etc. It's always done that, but it always takes me back using an Electrolux Twinturbo, just the sound of it. This one in particular has got a certain smell. It just takes me back to being a kid. It's yeah, it's funny, but it's good that we've still got it. A bit of a family heirloom now, and I've no doubt it's going to be around for a long time to come. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.